It didn't begin with the fight. It began with two people in a coffee shop. A quiet answer. Episode 01. The question I asked. Why do people fight? Two people shouting. I couldn't forget it. Something's been on my mind lately. People fight. A lot. Yesterday I was at a coffee shop, and the two people next to me started shouting at each other. Looked like friends. I don't know what it was about. But they both meant it. I came home and that scene stayed with me for hours. Two grown adults, sitting across from each other in a quiet afternoon coffee shop, going at each other with that kind of seriousness. Like the whole world depended on whether one of them was right. I kept replaying it. Not the words. I couldn't even hear most of the words. Just the feeling of it. The way their voices sounded like they were defending something much bigger than whatever the actual fight was about. And the strangest part. Neither of them got up and left. They kept sitting there. They kept fighting. Like leaving would have been worse than fighting. So I started asking. Just to myself, at first. Then I started asking for real. The simplest answer is the hardest to take. Why do people fight? Because people are people. That's a pretty lazy answer. The answer you wanted is just too complicated. But there has to be a reason. There always is, isn't there? It could be pride. Or hurt. Or money. Or who's right and who's wrong. Or being tired. Or being scared. Or being told to be a certain way for so long that breaking out of it feels like the only way to be yourself for a moment. I don't know. I've thought about this before, and I still don't really know why people do that to each other. Why I do it. All of those. So what's the real one? Because people are people. That answer was the one I wanted to hear least. But somehow, it was the one I couldn't argue with. Every other answer felt smart, but this one felt true. And the smart answers slipped off after a few minutes, while this one just sat there. Quiet. Refusing to leave. Some silences last 30 years. When I think about it, I see it everywhere. There are relatives in my family who haven't spoken in years. It started as something small, the kind of thing that should have been forgotten by the next morning. Then it became something where no one wanted to call first. At family gatherings, only one side ever shows up. The two of them can't be in the same room. Everyone knows it. Everyone has known for a long time. No one fixes it. Someone has to reach out first. And they've been figuring out who that someone is for 30 years. 30 years. 30 years of not being in the same room. 30 years of empty seats at every wedding, every funeral, every holiday meal. The empty seat is just there now. People stopped noticing it a long time ago. But it's there. I asked my mother about it once. She didn't really answer. She just said, that's how it is. Some people, once they stop talking, the talking just doesn't come back. The longer it goes, the heavier the first word gets. Eventually the first word becomes too heavy to lift. That's how silences last 30 years. I read something like this once. I read about someone who spent years listening to families that had stopped speaking. They said something close to this. Most people in those silences had tried to fix it. More than once. They just stopped trying after a while. Because the longer the silence got, the harder the first word became. Like a stone left in front of the door. And lifting it started to feel like too much. We get angry. Then we do it again. It's the same at work. There's a manager from another team who's been bad-mouthing my boss for over a year. It started in a meeting. Someone cut someone off, someone took credit for something that wasn't theirs, someone smiled at the wrong moment. That was it. A whole year built on that. The thing is, even she says she doesn't know why she still hates him this much. I overheard her say it once, to a coworker. She said, I should let it go. I don't even remember what started it. But I can't. She can't stop. Stopping would feel like losing. I read about something somewhere. A long time ago, there was an old practice where people would walk out alone into a forest or a field, and just talk out loud. Not to anyone in particular. Sometimes they would shout. Sometimes they would cry. The idea was that the empty place could take what people couldn't carry inside. But now we don't have empty places. We carry our anger to a screen. And the screen doesn't take it. It just makes it louder and sends it back. Online is worse. Strangers screaming at strangers about things that may never touch their lives. They know the comment probably won't change anything. They write it anyway. Because writing it is what makes the feeling go away. Not winning. Not being heard. Just the writing. And honestly, I'm the same. I get angry at small things. I take it out on people who didn't deserve it. The next day I regret it. I think, why did I do that? I tell myself I won't do it again. And then a week later, sometimes the next day, I do it again. Not because I forgot. Because I'm a person. And that's what people do. What if the fight wasn't the point? Honestly, I don't really know. I know fighting isn't good. I know it doesn't help. I know if I just walked away more often, my life would probably be easier. But some fights, if I don't have them, I feel like I'm disappearing. Like the part of me that does the fighting is the only part that's still mine. You were protecting your sore spot. People fight to protect their sore spots, sometimes. After that, something quieted down inside me. It's strange. I'd been thinking about all those fights, mine and other people's, and trying to find the reason. The reason was always smaller than I expected. Just something soft underneath that didn't want to be touched. My friend's fight wasn't about the money. It was about being seen as someone who deserved better. The manager's fight wasn't about the meeting. It was about being respected when she felt like she wasn't. And mine. Mine were almost never about what I said they were about. They were about something quieter. Something I couldn't have explained even if you'd asked me directly. Maybe that's what most fights are. Two soft places, both trying not to be touched, both reaching out the only way they know how. Winning didn't feel like winning. But there's something strange. Fighting doesn't actually clear the air. Not really. I used to think it did. I used to think, if I just say what I really think, if I just let it out, I'll feel better. And sometimes I do. For about an hour. Then night comes. The day I'm sure I was right, I lie in bed and see their face. The way they looked because of me. Not the words I said. Just the face. The slight pull at the corner of their mouth, the way they looked away, the way their shoulders dropped a little. And then being right doesn't feel like much. Why does it hurt more after a fight? I felt like I won. But also like I didn't. I didn't lose. But something's missing. Winning doesn't make you less lonely. I know. I think I've always known. I just didn't want to know. You stayed. Someone else didn't. Then what do they fight for? People don't fight to win. They fight not to disappear. But after the fight, they're still here, and something else is gone. What's gone? The other person. That one stayed with me for a while. Looking back, it's true. The people I won fights against, most of them aren't close to me anymore. I was right that day. I'm sure I was. I have memories of being right. I have the feeling of having been right. But they slowly disappeared from my life. Not all at once. Just one missed message. Then another. Then a holiday goes by and we don't talk. Then it's been a year. Then it's been 2. And then one day you realize you can't picture their face quite as clearly as you used to. I remember being right. I don't remember their face as clearly. Both fade with time. But theirs fades faster. So what's left is the fact that I was right. And the chair next to me is empty. People just lean that way. Pride, hurt, money, fear, the small daily injuries that build up without us noticing. All of it adds up to a person. People who don't fight aren't strange. People who fight aren't strange either. It's just that something leaves the room after a fight. And the space it leaves takes a long time to close. That's what being a person is. Some faces stay longer than facts. So how am I supposed to live? You carry whichever side you choose. You mean it's fine to fight? If you fight, you become someone who fought. If you walk away, you become someone who walked away. That's it. Most people carry the face they had after the choice longer than the choice itself. Hating yourself doesn't make the heart hurt less. That last line stayed with me longer than I expected. I've spent a lot of time hating myself for the times I fought. For the times I should have walked away and didn't. For the times I walked away and should have stayed. But hating myself never undid any of it. It just added another face. The face I had when I was hating myself, on top of the face I had when I made the choice. I read something a long time ago. Someone said that people will forget what you said, and they will forget what you did, but they will not forget how you made them feel. I think it works the other way too. I forget what I said. I forget what I did. But I don't forget how I felt while I was doing it. And neither do they. People fight. People walk away. Both leave a mark. But maybe what stays longest isn't the fight itself. It's the face I had while I was in it. The fact that I was right fades with time. But the face I had that day somehow doesn't. Cross-reference. What stays after a fight? End of file.